So we are doing the Uddhav Gita, we're continuing with it, chapter 17, and we had just ended at 42. But like I had promised, the last line of that particular verse, I may just go over it once again. But this is not observed because of its subtlety. So this line we will do. So we are doing Uddhav Gita, chapter 17, the last message of Sri Krishna, verse 43 onwards. As in the case of flames or streams or the fruits of a tree, even so are the conditions of age, etc., brought about by time. So, before we get into this verse, like I said, I will talk about the subtlety. Now, why is it that we do not understand the essence of time? Though time is the most important factor for getting anything done, and yet we deride time so much that we really don't have any clue why we do certain things. Now, to drive home the point that it is important to honor time, I will give you a small example. Let us say you have a certain set of things to do in a particular sequence. And these sequences are: I have to apply for a job at a particular point in time. But due to certain circumstances, I do not apply. Now, the circumstances are the factors which are not allowing me to apply. Let us say the factor could be pandemic, the factor could be place where you are, or the certain things that are happening in your life. Maybe you are getting married. So you say to yourself that once this gets over, once the pandemic gets over, once the occasion is gone, once I get married, then I will apply. Now, this delay could be 1 month, 2 months, 10 months, 1 year, 2 years, because the pandemic is anyway going to stretch itself for more than 2 years. So, when it is stretching itself, what happens? You have put this precondition: I am going to apply only after the pandemic is over. The whole world has changed. If you would have applied prior to the pandemic, prior to getting married, prior to getting the whatever functions that were there in your family over, you would have got a new job. That job would have given you more money than you would have imagined. You would have got a better place to live. You may not be in the same place where you were. There are hundreds of things which are probability factor. It could have happened. And yet what you did was, because of certain circumstances, you said, I will do it later. Not realizing the importance of time. You have lost yourself the opportunity to do the things at that moment in time. Remember, everything is predestined. That means whatever is the situation, the end result is already predestined. Which means very simply that you have to meet that goal somehow. But what you did was you stretched it further. Those who eat chewing gum, those who eat chewing gum, or those who are indulging in certain kinds of, intoxicants, maybe tobacco. Do you know what they do? They will keep the chewing gum in their mouth and they'll just keep on munching it like a cow for a very, very long time. Or the tobacco, they'll put over here. It's a very common thing. And they will just keep on taking the juice out of it. Like last time I was talking about the coffee. The coffee is getting recycled over and over again. Likewise, the tea leaves. Have you been to those tea stalls on the roadside? What do? They keep on squeezing more and more tea out of that tea leaves. Extending the life, extending the time. Now, this extension of time is a factor which is given to you. The same thing could have been done in a shorter duration. And yet, man doesn't do it. So, this subtlety is not observed by people. The imperceptible march of time, the way in which time passes, is not understood by humankind. Now, this was a minor factor, a small example. Let me give you the macro example, the big example. Let us say you have 100,000 lives. You have been given 100,000 lives. You keep on doing karma after karma after karma and getting entangled further and further into the life patterns. You're born again and again and again and again and again. It goes on for a very long time. Not necessarily the human birth. You can get any birth. So 100,000 times you are born. What is it that you have to do? 100,000 births. Let us say each birth is 50 years average. So, how many births? 5 million? 5 million days or whatever years? 5 million years you have extended your life? And look at it. You seem to enjoy the torture that you go through. You were a larvae. You know the larvae. The pupa and then the butterfly and all those things. And you were just hanging over there. Later on, you were born as a seahorse. You are in the male pouch. Maybe you were born as a centipede. You know how you squirm and squirrel yourself out? Maybe you are born as a bird or as a mosquito. Don't you think all these animals, creatures, insects go through their own pain and misery? Think about it. You may be born as a goat. Halal cut. Very nice. And you get eaten later on. Do you think they don't go through their torture? Maybe you're born as a bullock. You are yoked in as a bullock cart for the bullock cart. And yes, you will get those beatings so that you'd move. So whichever life you take, why do you want to extend your lifetime from one life to another, to another, to another, to another? Why don't you want to end that cycle? The end is actually in your hands, and yet you want to extend your life. This life also, you are not even interested. You have to be very, very truthful to yourself. How much time do you actually spend on these thoughts? Zero. You don't bother about it. The reason why you don't bother about it is because it is not affecting you. So the macro picture is like this. You have extended your life 100,000 times. What is it that you had to do? Whichever life as a human being you had in the past, you had that opportunity in those 100,000 lives in a lifetimes to liberate yourself from this cycle of rebirths, and yet you did not even do. So, in this life, do you really think you are trying anywhere? You are lost in your material world. Your material world is so easy to look at, isn't it? You have parents, you have relatives, you have friends, you have a job, you have money to get, you have a car, maybe a house, you have a lot of things. You have your career in front of you, and you are dreaming about making careers. You are thinking, I will do this and I will do that, for which you are willing to spend time. The time that you spend in making a career of yourself, for yourself, the same thing you do not even spend those few years in trying to getting out of these life cycles, the rebirths, and that is the problem. So here he says, as in the case of flames or streams or fruits or trees, even so are the condition of age brought about by time. Everything is brought about by time, and this time is so illusory. You actually feel time. Think what I am saying. You are sitting at home for the last 1 year, nearly a year, and the time is going so slowly because you couldn't meet people, you couldn't go out, you can't even go out and eat food. You can't go to a restaurant, you can't go to this place, you can't go to that place. Even your relatives you can't meet. And full time you're sitting in front of the phone or in front of the, your laptop or whatever, and talking to people. The time doesn't go. You felt the time literally bearing down on you. Now today there is a fatigue in time. Oh my God, one whole year has gone by. Nothing has happened. The same stuff, now some malls and some places are opened up. You can see the same stuff which was there in 2018 and 19. It's not gone, it's there, very much there. If you go to buy clothes, they are the old clothes. Go and see. Now, this is something which you can do. Go to the stores and see the date of manufacture of that item. It will be written September 2018, October 2018, January 2019. But fresh stock not available. Time stood still. And now you're paying a price for something which was sold exorbitantly then. And they may put up a fantastic sale responses outside. 50% off, 60% off, but doesn't make a difference. They have not had business for 1 year. So they are making a big fool of you. They need money. So did you see the march of time is defeating these people also? Do you remember a person talking through his hat and saying whatever that came to his mind, deriding the whole world and making it look like a miserable piece? Mr. Jack Ma, you remember him? Where is he today? He came up with Ant Financial. It was supposed to be the biggest issue in the whole world. And one mistake on his part, everything came to a standstill. The same person is now nowhere to be seen. Do you understand? It's called the march of time. It's very subtle. And this subtle march of time can never be understood because you do not value time. You will never understand it. These rebirths are never known. But now, when you are learning spiritual from here, at least make that effort. Why are you getting lost in your world? The moment the satsang is over, you might be closing your ears like this to all that nonsense I heard in the morning, and going back to the same world that you are in. Oh, I have to send the message to this one. I have to do this. I have to do that. Blah, 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 blah. You are back into the gutters. Not realizing that you are now extending your life by not 100,000 lives, but another 200,000 lives. Welcome to rebirth. Alright, so we will progress from verse 43 to 44. So Uddhav Gita chapter 17 verse 44. As in the case of flame, the idea and the statement that this is that very lamp, or in the case of a stream that this is that very water, are false. So also the idea and the statement that this is that very man in reference to men whose lives are in vain. Now, you have seen a flame. Now you lit a lamp, a small lamp. Sorry. You have lit a lamp. 5 minutes ago there was a flame. Now 5 minutes later there is a flame. Is it the same flame that was there 5 minutes ago? And is it the same flame that is going to be the fire 5 minutes hence? It is not the same. The flame, the burning, is actually pulling out all the oil from the wick, isn't it? And burning it. In the same way, you are sitting near a river. The water is flowing, 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 flowing. And you go there the next day. Do you think it is the same water that was flowing yesterday? No. That is a new water there. The particles are different, isn't it? Now look at yourself. Are you the same person that was there 5 days ago? Or have you changed? Are you the same person that was there in 2020? Are you the same person that was there in 2019? Do you know how much you have changed? The passage of time changes everything. Suppose you were a very jolly person in 2018. You are a very happy person. You are rising in your career. You are doing really well. You are getting good salary. 2019 came and you were promised that you will get a posting abroad and so on and so forth. 2020 came. The beginning of the year, you were told, once the pandemic is over, then we will call you abroad. 6 months down, you are given the pink slip and you are told, we are very sorry to say that because of the pandemic and because the company is not able to sustain you, you have to leave the job. You get your kick, you're thrown out in, say, August. This is January 2021. You still haven't found a job. And the going is so bleak that in the next 1 year also you are not even sure whether you're going to find a job or not. From 2018 till today, can you imagine the state of your mind and the state of your body and the state of your being? Everything has changed. From being a happy person, you were happy, lucky, all those kind of things, because you were getting a promotion, you were going abroad, everything was promised, and now there is no job. You don't have money. You have a family to sustain. You have to pay the rents. Where is the money going to come from? So you have become a miserable person. The change is so much. Are you the same person that was there then? No, you are not the same person. You are a different person. You have become a miserable person. That time you may be happy. Now, this is the way in which the whole situation changes. This change in the situation brings about the change in the body also. I will give you a very simple example. I'm sure those who have learned a little 1% of genetics will understand that we are made up of chromosomes. The H kind of a thing, they are H way, the way, the long strands. At the end of the chromosomes, imagine this is a chromosome, two sticks like this. One here and one here. Two sticks like this. Now this chromosome has at the end something which covers it up. It is capping it, literally like a bottle, how it has a cap on top, like that. From the bottom also it is capped. Right? Now, when you are that happy person, your chromosome has the capacity to be longer and it has got a lot of material inside which makes you into a happy man. This end, the caps are called telomeres. Telomeres. I don't know how it is pronounced. The cap is called telomeres. Now the funny part of these telomeres is that they can be smaller. Now only this much. The amount of data that is there inside, is it less or more? This capping can become smaller or bigger depending on your inherent nature. How are you? If you are a happy person, it will have a longer growth. You are going to be having a lot of happiness in you. But if they are short, you are that angry person. Because of your anger, they become shorter. This is just a little science. Forget the science. I don't care about the science so much. I will tell you about life. If you are a miserable, angry, and an inhuman kind of a person who keeps on pointing out fingers at every person and finding faults with the human beings and everything around you, you are a miserable person. And because you are a miserable person, the entire body inside doesn't have any happy hormone inside of you. There is no happy hormone inside of you. So you are always glum kind of a person. You know those kind of faces? That is exactly who you are. But if there is happiness, your face glows, your eyes become big, your pupils dilate, you are literally always on top of the world. You're not shouting, you're not getting excited that way, you're not angry with anybody, you're smiling. There is no frown on your. You live longer because of that. And the more amount of irritation that you have, the more amount of anger that you have already created all the wrong kind of juices inside your body. A miserable person. Look at those Japanese who are staying for 100 years. In some of the villages, you will find that there are Japanese who are staying longer. They go about doing their job just like that. They don't have that tension on their head. They are just going about doing their duty, their job. They're just working around. They don't get angry with anybody. They don't have anything to bother their head about. They're not bothered. Mera road, why is there a pothole in my road? Why is the government not doing this? Why nobody has come to my place? Why this has not happened? They're not bothered about it. They're just living their life happily. They've extended their lifespan. Okay? The telomeres are long, the strands are longer, and they have a very happy go lucky kind of a nature. Whereas those who are irritating people. Now, why did I give you this example? This example is given that so that you understand that you have one life, this one life. And in that one life, you have to achieve the target of not being born again. And this has never affected you. You are still in that miserable world of yours. And this is the problem. So, are you the same? No. You move from happiness to misery to happiness to misery to happiness to misery. And what kind of a happiness? When somebody says, you have done a great job, you look so good, that time you feel happy. And tomorrow, when your boss says, get out, I don't want you. You don't have a job, you don't have money. You don't even have money to pay your rent. You know, you are glum, you are angry, you are upset. You are not the same person. You can change the way you are if you have all the good qualities, the sattva guna. Anyway, now that is not what we are discussing. Krishna has said over here that the idea and the statement that this is that very man and reference to men whose lives are in vain. The person says, I am the same, I am the same person. Sir, you are not the same person. Just like in this life, you are changing your life from beginning till now. As a kid, you are a different person. As you grew up, you are a different person. As you became a teenager, you are different. As you became a youth, you are different. As you got married, maybe you got a job, you are a different person. And now you may be an old person. And you may get to become still older. And you are not going to be the same person at all. So this is what Krishna is talking about. He says, the life is in vain. There is no change in you. You don't have the goodness, you don't even bother going towards Sattva Guna. Your life is in vain. You have wasted your life. Like the same thing. There is a chance in your lifetime to rectify the whole situation. Like just now, when I'm reading this book, there is a time right now. I'm giving the knocks on your head. Tuck, tuck. Wake up, wake up, wake up. But you have to decide. So now let us see what the next few verses say. We are doing chapter 17 from the Uddhav Gita, verse 45. Neither is this man born nor does he die, though the instrumentality of his own work. Through the instrumentality of his own work. It is all a mistake. He is immortal. The case is analogous to that of fire, which is manifested through the wood. This is the strange part, isn't it? It is said by Krishna to Uddhava, the idea that you die is wrong. You are actually immortal. You don't have birth and death, birth and death, birth and death. It is you are immortal. And yet he says a very strange thing in the previous verses. You were born and you died. You were born and you died. And you had multiple rebirths. Think about this example. Now I will give you another example. There is a bottle of water in front of you. You drink that bottle and then you go and pee. The water goes down the drain. Some water goes inside your body, that is evaporated. Water goes down the drain, that goes into the gutters take it to the sea, and then the sea, in hot summer, the water evaporates and goes into the sky as a cloud. After some time, the cloud gives rain. When the rainwater falls into a river or some basin, that river water then goes towards the fields. The crop is getting the water. You are the water inside that grain. That water is then eaten in the form of rice or wheat or whatever. You are eating it. It goes into somebody else's body. Now think, what am I saying? It is the same water which is getting recycled over and over again in different bodies. Remember, it was a bottle of water and then it went inside your body. Then it became, from water, it became urine. From urine, it went into the gutters. From the gutter, it became gutter water. From gutter water, it became sea water. Sea water, it became steam. It went up into a cloud. So it became a cloud. From the cloud, the rain came. It became a rain, and then it became a pond or a lake. From the lake, it went into the rice stalk, and then it became rice grains, and from that got eaten, and that person who has eaten it will also give off the water. It's a cycle. You are the same. You are the same water, and you are going over and over and over again and again and again. Every time when you change the shape, remember, are you called water? Though you are water, then yet you are not called water, yet you are given a different name. Gutter water, sea water, cloud, rain, pond, lake, bottled water, grains. Oh my God, it's the same thing but recycled into so many different things. Now, this is the example which I want you to think about yourself. You are that soul, one soul, Jivatma. You got a body of a human being. You did a lot of karmas. Remember when you were in the bottle? The water was in the bottle. You did a lot of karmas. You died. Then you became something else. Maybe you became a horse. Then the horse died. It became something else. Maybe a fish. The fish died. It became a bird. From bird, it became a worm. From worm, it became an alligator. From alligator, it became a krill. From the krill, it became a tree. And from the tree, some fruits were produced. Hey, how many things you are going to get into? You have become all these kind of things. But you are that one thing alone, isn't it? Just like that example of water, you are water. The water was one only. You are also that soul. But because of your own follies, you have accepted your name as a horse, as an alligator, as a krill, as a tree. That is the name you got for yourself and the body you got for yourself. But are you that one? No. You are that immortal soul, which is just going from one place to the other, to the other, to the other, to the other. That means you are getting recycled. But actually you are not. Just because you got put in some bottle, you think you are recycled. This is exactly what happens to human beings. To you, the one who is listening to my satsang right now, to you it is the same thing happening. You feel that you are now so and so, whatever is your name. You could be Tom, Dick, Harry, Jones, whatever. You could be a Raja or a Rank, doesn't matter. You may be a rich man or a poor man, but you have some name. And you think that you are that name, not realizing that you are not even that name. You are just the container. The pond, the lake, the water vapor, the cloud. You remember? The urine, the gutter water, the sea water, like that. You think of yourself as you are the horse, you are the alligator, you are this, you are krill, you are whatnot. That is the way. You are just calling yourself by the appearance that you took. Whereas the truth is, you are not the appearance. You are that immortal soul which goes from one place to the other. It's a way of thinking. Don't take it like that, okay? So when I give examples or when I say these words, that's the way of thinking. You have to think this way. So, did you get it? You are the one only. You are immortal. You are actually there. But yet you keep on thinking that you are the body. I am the body. I am the body. I am the body. I am the body. This thought keeps on bugging you constantly. That, and you call yourself by some name. And then you have relatives also. You get married also. You have children also. And then you keep on thinking, I am so and so. I have to work. I have to work really hard. I have to pay money. I have to do this. I am a sick man. I am a sick man. I need injections. I need medicine. I have to go to the hospital. All these thoughts keep on coming to you. Whereas you are that immortal soul, and that is what you don't realize. Okay, so this is what Krishna is telling Uddhava. So we will move to the next verse now. We are doing chapter 17 from the Uddhav Gita. The verse is 46. Conception, embryo state, birth, childhood, boyhood, youth, middle age, decay and death. These are the 9 states of the body. Now this is something which you already know. You see, you got conceived someday. Conception happened. When your mom and dad came together, conception happened. Then you became an embryo. And then you were born as a child. Then you had childhood. Then you had boyhood, youth, middle age. Then you became an old man. And then you decayed. And then you died. And then you were born again. So it's a cycle after cycle after cycle. That is what happened to you, isn't it? So this is what happens to every person. The 9 states of this kind happen to everybody. So we move to the next verse now. So we are doing chapter 17, Uddhav Gita, verse 47. Owing to this attachment to the gunas, the jiva assumes these imaginary states, high and low, belonging clearly to something else, and some under exceptional circumstances give them up. These 9 states of yours. Now we are not going to go to your past life or your future life, okay? We are not going to think of you as a horse or a dog or something. No. We are just going to focus on this life of yours. This life as a human being. As a human being, you were born. You were a tiny, blob somewhere in your mother's body. From there, you became a small baby. Then you were born. You took birth and you started growing up. You became a child, and from a child, you became a youth. From that, you became a young man, and from young man, got married, had your family, children, blah, 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 blah. All those things. And then you became an old man. These are the different states you passed in. And yet, you, the soul, thinks of yourself as I am a young person. You see, when a person looks at an old man or an old woman, and somebody says, uncle, auntie, the person gets very angry and says, don't call me auntie, don't call me uncle. Oh, you have identified yourself with the body. Actually, you are trying to become a young person. Thinking of yourself as, oh, I am a young person. The foolishness of the body is that trying to become young, doing, all kinds of exercises or eating healthy food and all that is good for your body. What is good for your soul? You're only trying to keep the body perfect. Tomorrow, what I will do, I will keep your body perfect for more than 1,000 years. The same. I will not change the body. I will keep your body in perfect condition for the next 1,000 years. How is that? We'll kill you and then we'll make a mummy out of you. The Egyptian mummy. It doesn't change. We'll use all those preservatives to preserve the body. You're not going to become old after that. You are still the young person. Who cares? So you are talking about a body which is going old? Sir, even if I see a dead mummy, you understand those Egyptian mummies I'm talking about? Even if I see a dead mummy whose time is frozen to more than 2,500 years, the person was 17 years old, is now also 17 years old, the body has not changed. What is the use? The soul that was there in that body is not there in this body. You are bothered about your stupid body, trying to keep it younger. You're trying to keep this perishable thing as a younger thing. How foolish are you? You try to have a diet. You try to do exercise. You do all kinds of nonsensical stuff around you so that you can become younger, so that people should not call you auntie and uncle. That is what you are bothered about. There are Ashtasiddhis saying Tathastu, Tathastu. They will keep on listening to you. Oh, you want to remain young? Okay, fine. I will deep freeze your body for the next 10,000 years. That body is what you're talking about, no? But I'll take your soul out of that and we will make you into a Kida Makoda, or insect, or a worm. The body is there. It is belonging to the earth. You are not the body. Did you get the point? We will preserve the body, but you are not the body. You will be put in some other body. So here, it is because you are attached to your body so much and you are attached to your mind so much. Oh, I want to look young. I want to look nice. I want to do this. I want to do that. I'm still a young person, 16 years old. What are you talking about, you foolish person? You're bothered about your body? Owing to the attachment of the gunas, this is because you are attached to your gunas. Instead of changing that thing, I am not the body, I am the soul, and becoming immortal. Throw the caste, the body is not important at all. But yet you are so much bothered about the body. People are bothered about the container. They are not bothered about what is inside. Remember, the water goes from one body to the other, to the other, to the other, to the other. The water is the same. It has not changed. Whereas the container has changed. First, it was a bottle of water, then it went inside your body. From there, you urinated it, it became urine, it went into the gutters. From gutters, it went into the sea. From sea, it became water vapor, it went into the clouds. You think you are the cloud, you think you are the water vapor, you think you are the sea. You are not the sea, you are not the water vapor also. Got it? This is the truth about life. You are still bothered about your body. It is all happening because of the gunas. You have the three gunas with you, sattva, rajas and tamas. The tamas makes you so useless. Oh, I have become so fat, you know. Yes, I put on weight, I got to reduce. What have you got to reduce? Foolish person, what are you talking about? Instead of going towards the divinity, you are going towards your stupidity. The jiva assumes these imaginary states. You assume that this is the body. You assume that that is the age that I am. You assume that I have to look young. You assume all this nonsense. You make that into your life goal. I have to look younger. I have to look nice. I have to be good. That is what you keep on thinking of yourself. The foolishness of the person is there right in front of the nose. He says, you assume this imaginary state. You assume you have now grown. You assume that you were a young person. You assume that I was a very happy person. All those are assumptions. States which are high and low. Some states are high, some states are low. Sometimes you feel happy, sometimes you feel miserable. Sometimes you feel I look beautiful, sometimes you feel I look more worst, I look like a horrible creature. Sometimes you feel that you're on top of the world, sometimes you feel so down and out. Sometimes you say I am depressed, and sometimes you say, yeah, I can rule this world. This is nothing but states brought about by the gunas. They belong clearly to something else. They don't belong to you. Why are you assuming that this is your body? You foolish person, you are assuming that this is you. That is only a container. You're just making the container beautiful. Think about it. Just now there was Christmas and then the New Year. In the New Year, you got a gift. Somebody sent you something through Amazon. And the parcel came. The Amazon person left you a big parcel. On that was written Amazon, brown color, and it came in your hand. Then you removed the cover of Amazon. Inside that, there was a big pouch. You removed the covering of the pouch. Then there was inside another packing material. You removed that, and then you removed that, and then you removed that. And you found that it is a very beautiful, you know, iPhone 12. Now, on the top is written iPhone 12. You removed that white color covering, and you saw inside a very beautifully packaged iPhone. Now tell me, was the package beautiful? Yes. What is the use of the package after you have reached the iPhone 12? Tell me that Amazon Dabba, what is the use of that box of Amazon? Nothing, you chucked it. All the packaging material that came in, you have chucked that also. Even the plastic it was wrapped in, you chucked that also. Finally, you are left with a nice container from iPhone company, the Apple company. That also you removed, and inside that you found the phone. What did you do with that white box of yours? Are you using it? Is it worth anything? No, you kept it away. Maybe you threw it away. That is what you are. You are the present who does not realize that you are appreciating the covers. You are appreciating this Amazon box of yours. You can go and make this box into a wonderful thing also. Doesn't matter. You can paint it. You can do whatever you want to. We are talking about the iPhone 12 that was there inside. We are not talking about anything else. I don't care for the rest of the things. What has the immense value? The immense value is the thing inside of you. Thing inside that box. And this is what you don't understand. You try to decorate your box so beautifully. Even the Apple company decorates his box very nicely. But are you bothered about the box, or are you bothered about the phone inside? So I hope some little thing has been drilled inside your head by now. The brown color box doesn't justify the white color box inside. Does it justify? Did you get the point? The white color box is more beautiful than the brown color box of Amazon. But more beautiful than that is the main object, which is the iPhone 12. You value that more than the boxes also, and the coverings also. I hope this little explanation of iPhone 12 and the box and the Amazon box also has come in little use to you. Why are you admiring this stupid body of yours? What makes you think by painting it, becoming somebody else is good? You are never going to reach that box, that iPhone inside. You got what I'm saying? It is the soul which has to become beautiful, not you. Which means you have to be very kind, compassionate, loving, caring, full of the divinity inside of you. You are that divine person. And what are you trying to paint yourself into? An iPhone 12 box? Or an Amazon box? What are you trying to do? This is what he says, belonging to something else. You do not realize how beautiful and how precious you are and how immortal you are. You are that divine person inside. And yet trying to make yourself into a different person whom you are actually not. You are not this body. And yet you're trying to make this body into something really different. The container has zero value. And some, under exceptional circumstances, give them up. This is the crux of this verse. So far, I have explained to you the whole thing. You know how. What is important to you? The last line. Under exceptional circumstances, some people give it up. The exceptional circumstances comes in your life by the grace of God. By the divine grace of Krishna himself, that will flow through you and will make you understand that this body is worthless. He will say, come to me. Don't bother about this body of yours. It has no value. Your soul is the same as the divine one. That knowledge has to hit you hard. And it happens only under exceptional circumstances. By the grace of God and your Guru can that be brought about. You can only do something in your life. You can paint your faces, you can become beautiful artificially. Have you seen the wife of the richest man? She has painted her face so much and she thinks she is very young now. When the whole world looks at her, they laugh at her. That day on the 1st of January, or maybe I think on 2 or 3 days prior to that, this lady was trying to photograph herself with her son. And the son treated her so badly. He's telling his mother, go away from here. So by painting your face or looking beautiful, do you even have this much amount of, respect in anybody's life? People only look at you, oh, you look so beautiful. Nobody gives a damn to your beauty. Nobody gives a damn to the body of yours. Your body is miserable. You are full of nonsense. If you have the grace of God descending on you, and in exceptional circumstances, because you have been the best human being on earth, you have been a sattvic person, the grace will descend on you. By the grace of the divine, he will tell you, you are not the body. You are that divine being. You are that supreme soul. And this knowledge will come to you. You will then give up this body of yours. That attachment to your body, to your mind, to your relatives, your husbands, your wives, your children's, your grandchildren's, your attachment to your parents and your house and your properties, everything is connected to that silly body of yours. You will give up all these things. You will give up all these attachments. You will become dispassionate by nature. You will not say, I want this or I want that. You will become a desireless person. And then you will go towards the divine. And when you go towards the divine will tell you exactly what you have to do. This is the essence of these lessons. At the end of this whole 1 hour, I am telling you, all that nonsense that you are thinking about, which you want to achieve in this world, is worthless. God has made you, Krishna has made you for an exclusive purpose, to serve his purpose alone. This body has been given not so that you can decorate it. This body has been given to work hard for Krishna. Please work really very hard and make him feel mighty pleased that yes, you belong to him. You are belonging to the Supreme Paramatma. You don't belong to that body. You are not the urine. You are not that sea. You are not the cloud. You are not anything else. You are that pristine, clear soul. Absolutely pure, immortal. And this grace will come only to very few people. That is why he says, under exceptional circumstances, you will give up this attachment to your body. So we have come to the end of verse 47. We are going to stop over here, and in the coming week, we will do verse 48 onwards. So I'll take your leave. You take care. Have a great day. Bye. See you all.